Hey, you're back! Actually, I'm back, and I'm here with another edition of Just an Opinion. Now, I've talked about sitcoms before, and I'm going to keep doing it, but today I'm going to focus on some of the more gloomy episodes. Sitcoms are formulaic, we all know this, but sometimes they delved into real material that you could actually relate to, and not every story ends happily. As an audience, perhaps the topic at hand was something you've gone through already, or perhaps the sitcom made you aware of something that wasn't talked about as much as it should be. So keep the tissues handy, because today I'm going to talk about my top 10 sad sitcom episodes. Number 10 is Mr. Belvedere, Wesley's friend. This was a unique episode featuring the revelation that Wesley's friend Danny had acquired AIDS through a blood transfusion. The year was 1986, and America's fear and ignorance was on full display, the parents not wanting their own children to be anywhere near Danny.
My dad said to stay away from Danny because you can catch it real easy.
You can? Oh, yeah. You can get it by just touching somebody or drinking out of the same glass.
A sixth grader told me you can get it just by talking on the phone.
You guys are stupid.
And the kids themselves ridiculing Wesley for remaining friends with him. Wesley buys into their BS at first, but then realizes what happened to Danny wasn't his fault. And all along, all Danny wanted was his buddy to stick by him through this terrible circumstance.
Sure you won't be afraid to do all that stuff with me? Why should I be? You're my friend.
Number 9 is Laverne and Shirley, Why Did the Fireman? Laverne is in love with a fireman named Randy, played by a young Ted Danson. But the night he is about to propose to her, he is called away on a job. Laverne waits on him for their magic moment, but Lenny and Squiggy deliver the tragic news.
And the roof collapsed, and everybody was running around and yelling.
Laverne, Randy's dead.
Laverne goes into a deep state of denial after this revelation, certain that Randy will still show up. When all else fails, her father Frank helps Laverne face the horrible truth in hopes that it can help with the healing process.
Why does the guy stop hurting so bad?
It's gonna hurt a long time. But I promise you, the hurt will go away.
Laverne snaps out of her depression, ready to make the first step towards moving on. Number 8 is the Hogan family, the best of friends, the worst of times. David and Bert are reunited with their long-lost bud Rich, but learn the terrible truth that he has AIDS. At first, David reacts with fear and denial, not wanting to face the uncertainties. But with conversations with Sandy and Bert, he realizes it's okay to be afraid, but it's not okay to abandon Rich at the time that he needs him most.
This disease scares me too, but Rich is our buddy.
I mean, Rich doesn't deserve to have AIDS.
David, nobody deserves to have AIDS.
After this, they share some good times together, but unfortunately Rich passes away. David shares this experience with his fellow peers, trying to educate those about the truths and falsehoods of this then new epidemic.
He was just a regular guy, you know. Dad let me into his life. And for that, I'll always be grateful.
Number 7 is Punky Brewster, I Love You, Brandon. Punky's pup, Brandon, is hit by a car. Punky is grief-stricken, blaming herself. While the doctors work on Brandon, Punky befriends Mrs. Carney, who took her dog Angus in for a routine visit. Things go from bad to worse as the vet recommends Brandon be put down to end his suffering.
What do you think we should do?
I think I should go and say goodbye to Brandon.
Punky has to come to terms with this as she prepares Brandon for his trip to doggy heaven, but he makes a last-minute recovery. But unfortunately, poor Angus wasn't so lucky. While devastated, Mrs. Carney is grateful for the time she did have with him, giving him the best life that she could.
Angus lived a very long,
full life.
Number 6 is the Golden Girls, Old Friends. The main plot of this episode involves the friendship between Sophia and her buddy Alvin. Everything starts lighthearted, with the two chums finding humor in how they forget things in their old age. But the episode soon turns sad, when Sophia realizes that Alvin's forgetfulness is much more serious.
I'm sorry, Alvin. Don't cry. That's okay. You cry all you want.
Sadly, he is suffering from Alzheimer's with no chance of recovery. And with this, he has to move to an assisted living facility, causing Sophia to lose her dear friend. Luckily, the B-plot of this episode has one of the most hilarious moments in Golden Girls history to help balance out the tone.
Time to time, life deals you an unfriendly hand. There's nothing you can do about it. I guess there's a lesson to be learned here. Sometimes life just isn't fair, kiddo.
Number 5 is Family Matters. I Should Have Done Something. Carl is approaching the 1-year anniversary of a robbery gone wrong where a hostage was killed on his watch. It awakens some dormant feelings of guilt and remorse that an innocent man's death was his fault. Carl visits the man's grave, looking for any form of forgiveness.
And I just want to say that I'm so sorry, Mr. Mallory. I am so very sorry.
He finds it when he meets the victim's widow, who you might recognize as the grieving dog mother in Punky Brewster.
You must realize that it's not your fault either. Okay?
Okay.
After talking with her, Carl realizes that this was a tragedy, but one that was out of his hands. Number 4 is Punky Brewster, Fenster Hall. Punky is not the focus of this unsuccessful backdoor pilot. Instead, we get TC, a homeless orphan turned thief by his manipulative mentor, Blade. The latter hatches a plan to rob an orphanage, using TC as his mole. The heart of this episode comes with Mike, the counseled elder of Fenster Hall, who gets TC to reveal his backstory of how he was abandoned by his father.
My mother died when I was born. And he never let me forget it. I wish it could have been me who died instead of her.
It wasn't your fault, TC. Your father was wrong to blame you.
But with Mike's compassion, TC realizes he is a good person, but he has to break away from Blade once and for all.
After all I've done for you...
You haven't helped me, Blade. You make me do things and make me feel bad about myself.
Number 3 is Family Ties, A. My name is Alex. This episode has Alex coping with the loss of his friend. The grief hits him harder than he expected, triggering him to look at his life from an existential point of view.
I should have been with Greg. I should have been sitting right next to him. I want answers, okay? Because I can't go on like this. Why am I alive? Why am I alive? Why am I alive? Why am I alive?
We're gonna help you, honey.
He ends up seeing a psychiatrist, deep down wondering why he is alive and his friend Greg isn't. The narrative turns very touching at this point. The normally selfish Alex is somewhat humbled by this experience, feeling more grateful for the gift of life.
And I can take time to appreciate the beauty in this life. And I can be gentle. And I can be forgiving.
Number 2 is The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Papa's got a brand new excuse. Will's estranged father is in town, wanting to reconnect with his long-lost son. Will is cautious at first, but soon finds himself enjoying the time that he's spending with his daddy, making up for lost time. Meanwhile, Uncle Phil is very concerned that Will's dad will just inevitably disappoint him again.
That is not cool, man, the way you dissing my father like that.
The hell with your father.
Philip, for God's sake.
He waltzes in here after 15 years?
14.
Oh, excuse me. 14 years. And acts like nothing has happened. Wake up, Will.
But Will feels strong enough to take that chance, willing to start their relationship anew. But the climax comes when his dad backs out of a trip that they had planned. Despite being a grown man, Will is destroyed by this.
How come you don't want me, man?
Number 1 is Growing Pains. Eddie, we hardly knew ye. Grandpa Ed comes to town with the terrible news that he has a terminal illness and only a short time to live. With the clock ticking, Ed struggles to get his affairs in order. Maggie helps him the best that she can, she herself struggling with the grim news. Both try to spend as much quality time together, reliving some old times.
You had me try out for Little League.
Yeah, but I always let you wear makeup when you got an extra base hit.
You bought me a jock.
I didn't want you to feel any different than the other guys.
They find a small amount of joy, despite the sad circumstances. The finale comes when Maggie is all set for a father-daughter fishing trip, only to learn the news that her father had just passed away.
It's your dad. He died about an hour ago.
No. No, I just called him this morning to see if he had a safe flight.
Doctor said he went quickly and there was no pain.
No, he just invited me on this fishing trip. No, we were gonna pick up.
Thank you so much for watching, and please do leave a comment. I'll be back soon, but this time I'm going to focus on the short-lived TV series Just the 10 of Us. I hope you check it out.